Hello and welcome to this combined video of all of my recently purchased and used Ortlieb Bikepacking kit. So this was the array of Ortlieb products that I selected when doing my research, and I've done separate reviews on each one, or certain aspects of each one, and now they're all fitted to my bike, and I'm just going to quickly talk through aspects of them being fitted. So roughly try and do it in the same order as I made the off the bike reviews. So the seat pack here, I've got 7 t-shirts, a lightweight fleece and like a thicker zip up fleece stuffed in here, and you could squeeze a bit more in, to be fair. There's 3 turns on that dry bag there, and you could squeeze a bit more in, but comfortably. That's kind of what I was looking at riding with. So dimensions wise, we're talking, that is just over 50 centimetres in length, and we're tapering to about 30 centimetres wide at its widest point at the rear here, and tapering gradually down to say 10 centimetres wide at the bottom here, over that entire length. This is for attaching bike lights. These, they go all the way through. You can thread things through those, so you could also use them for some other attachment purposes, I dare say. The netting on the elastic meshing on the top, some of it's obscured under the saddle here. I've got it right tight under the saddle, so maybe it's just the nature of the saddle that I've chosen, but I had to put my seat up just a touch to actually fit this. So when the saddle stem is what are we talking, 16 centimetres to the base of the bracket there, and the saddle itself sticks out sort of 14 centimetres to the rear. That's the total allowance. If you brought the seat down anymore, it would foul on the seat, on the quick release, or the quick release seat here. So you couldn't have the seat any lower down if there was less of an overhang of the saddle, if it was right forwards perhaps, but then again it's fixed by these. So these are these wear resistant straps under here that clip on and snap down, so that's fitted snugly, and this is fitted tight. So got a bit of rock, but it has its limits. It stops, as soon as you stop, and I do a horrendously bumpy section and feel behind me and look behind me, and it would still be in exactly the place where it should be. Occasionally I'd stop and just nip these up. It just sort of maybe even compacts a bit and like settles, gets a bit slack. So every now and then I just sort of stop in it. I've got a little bit droopy, so I just nip that up. Apart from that, that's been great, and it's a great place to stuff jackets, litter, bags, shoes, flip-flops, all of that stuff in there. So that's a great piece of kit. You don't know it's there, you don't feel it. I even had my lock. Is my lock in here? Yeah, my lock is in here. I had this lock, not coiled, double coiled single, around the seat post up, and underneath these straps are basically like a necklace around the saddle and resting on here and held by the elastics. And that didn't foul on the backs of my thighs or anything, and that worked really well. So that was useful. I think that pretty much covers the on-bike aspect. As I say, there's a bit of a wiggle. You don't notice it. But the thing I mentioned in my other review about some sort of stay of some sort, you know, I don't know, I'm into improvising and getting solutions to problems, so I might see if I can come up with something or repurpose something, or, you know, buy something and make it fit to the Ortlieb bag, or I don't know. But yeah, that's that. Then moving on, we've got the front roll dry bag. I've just got that stuffed with just clothing at the moment, but what I had in there was a lightweight sleeping bag, a Thermarest Slacker double hammock, a Alp kit tarp, which must, you know, just big enough to go over a hammock, heavy duty paracord for a hang in the hammock, 2 pieces, 5 bits of paracord, like 6 or 8 titanium Alp kit pegs, a little inflatable pillow, and that was, you know, I could just about stuff a rain jacket in there as well, and that would be it. But you know, you get a bedroll in there. I've got this tape measure down here, so I'm sure it will eventually exist, but they might have to be the same as the ground truth version. So, yeah, from the end of the roll to the end of the roll, and this has got like 2 turns, so it's pretty much what you can get in there, 64 centimetres, and from the inside of the roll to the actual space, really, I suppose, we're looking at 58, 59 centimetres. You can squeeze a bit, you can always squeeze a bit more in going. I didn't stuff that like, you know, my life depended on it, and like needed to maximise the space, I just stuffed a load of clothes in it. So you could squeeze a tiny bit more, but you get the gist, and the sort of diameter is, what, 20 centimetres by 16 or something, you know, it's not completely circular with whatever I've got in there, but yeah, so that's the kind of size and kind of what you're going to get in there. You've got these buckles that come off, like I said, it's best to keep a bit of tension in. They're elastic here. You know, you can, when it's fully slackened off, you can easily stuff in there, and then just pull that and slide the toggle down here, and that's all held nice and securely. Got reflectors on the front. This is where my brake adjusters were chafing, so I had heat shrink sleeving on these, and double gaffer tape on there, and there's no mark, so, you know, I'll be taking this off again, but that's quite sharp, and it'll eventually wear through. The foam spacers in action, and these snap down toggle clips, which haven't budged at all. And I mean, I bounced over terrain, the fastener under here, held it securely the whole time. There's a little foam spacer in there. I did have a bit of frame rub from one of the brake cables. I'm still trying to work out which one must have caused it, but yeah, check that, you know, because it's pressing your cables against your paintwork potentially, you know, and then vibrating it around. You might want to put some protective stickers on. I'm not too fussed, to be fair, but, you know, on the subject of frame rub, where these velcros, no, not these velcros, I think it's this one, and this one has gone on. There's some scuffing, you know, with abrasion. I'm not sure if it's because if I'd have had loop side down, then it probably would have been fine, but I imagine I had, like I have brought here, hook side down, and that's what scratched the paint, so you might want to consider that in retrospect. Yeah, good, solid, spacious, waterproof, durable quality front bedroll is what I basically call it, so that worked for me well. Frame bag, best talked about from around here, really, because this is the zip side, I suppose. This is the side that makes sense to film it from. So, yeah, these 3 really durable Velcro bits at the top, there's hanging the weight from it, and it sits right in the back here. And then all these webbing loops that you can pick which one. So for me, it was this one, this bottom corner, and one up here, and that held it nice and securely. The T-handle just threads into there to stow it while you're riding, and comes out. You have to perform some sort of balancing act to free up the other hand. There we go. But yeah, into the compartment there, so that can be flexed to a decent width without touching your knees and things. Quite quick to get into and out of, totally waterproof. Yeah, nice piece of kit. And I'll just grab a tape measure, dimensions. I know they always give you dimensions, but so on the bike, for some sort of scale, yeah, 40 centimetres long, 23, 22, whatever hypotenuse on that. This little bit here is, as they say, 5-6 centimetres, so you know the space that it's fitting into this top tube is, you know, not that much longer than the bag, to be fair, 7 or 8 centimetres. And you just squeeze a pump in here. You can't really fit a bottle in there without just getting rid of all your space, hence the cages on the forks video. But yeah, I suppose the pump could have gone in here if this is bigger, you know, so I'd rather have something that filled all of this space, but it's probably a custom job or something like that, and I probably can't get that in Ortlieb quality, but yeah, for what it is, I needed something at short notice, but I still want to get something with some longevity to it, so yeah, I'm pleased I chose that. Good for heavy items, zips perform really well. I trust it to leave, you know, electronics in outside overnight in the rain with the zip fully shut. And again, maintain that with a bit of silicone grease, and it will, you know, having seen how it arrives with silicone grease on, I'm going to go and grease up the zip on my messenger bag. I think that'll make it easier to open and close. So yeah, lastly is this, whatever they call it, fuel cell is it or something, I don't know, the bit the one that mounts here. So you've got this Velcro around the front, a little pad, just to add a bit of protection to both things there, and then one of these Velcro things with a moulded plastic, but because the frame is a, I don't know, sort of a three straight faces, rounded, doesn't quite fit the profile of the bit under here. And the other thing to bear in mind is, obviously this is buttered right to the back, and this has to be here, and that has to be around there, so these almost clash with each other. If this top tube, if this crossbar was any shorter, there would be overlap between these two immovable things, and I don't know how I would have solved that. So that's definitely something to be aware of. So the total length of that top tube is, bear with me, show you filming. This is a very thin, cheap tape measure. .47, let's say. So just for some scale, yeah, it's like 17 long, and the Velcro is between, you know, 4 and 8 centimeters along from this end. So yeah, just bear in mind this. I was lucky with this, but I could have ended up having to send that back, which, if you see my previous review, wouldn't have been the end of the world. It's my least favourite product out of the 4, but nevertheless did the job very well. So yeah, that's what the system looks like, or the setup looks like. Pretty nifty, to be fair, with the bottles on there as well. Certainly did me very well. I'm going to make a video about it, hopefully. 240-mile round trip in a circumnavigating the periphery of Norfolk, so that would be Angles Way east to west, from Alton Broad to Nettershall Heath, then north on Peddars Way to Hunstanton, round to Cromer on the Norfolk Coast Path, and then south back to Alton Broad on the Weavers Way. So I did that in 82 hours, so that would be 4 ways in 4 days, I'm calling it. So it did that journey. It's the only journey this bike and this kit has done. Up until that, I didn't have the kit, and the bike's only going to a few jaunts around Thetford Forest track. So, you know, my first experience in bike packing, and it all worked really well. As I say, clothing in the rear, bedding and accommodation in the front, everything else in the frame bag, and, you know, valuables and little bits and pieces in the top bit, and a backpack on with a bit of food in. So, yeah, that's what I make of it. And I hope this has helped you make your decision either way as to whether this is the right kit for you. Hope that's helped you in some way. So if you like this video, hit like, and if you'd like to hear more, maybe about the trip that I did when I do the video, that might take a little longer than these little impromptu off the cuff videos to put together. So if you want to hear more about that adventure, then subscribe and you'll be notified whenever I manage to complete it. So I'm just gonna just walk around the bike, show you some other angles just in case there's any aspect of this that you can like pause and look at, and all the stuff that I do when I'm researching things. I found the box for that phone mount actually, where I've put that. You probably don't need to see that. Cool. Nice one, guys.